In the late 1960s, Northern California was gripped by fear. Couples no longer felt safe in quiet parks. Families double-checked their locks. Police were overwhelmed, reporters were bombarded with letters, and one name dominated headlines: the Zodiac. The Zodiac Killer remains one of the most infamous and mysterious criminals in American history. His sudden wave of violence terrified California, then ended just as abruptly, leaving behind questions that have never been answered. For over 50 years, police, journalists, and amateur sleuths have tried to solve the puzzle. Tonight, we revisit his chilling story. It began on December 20th, 1968. Teenagers Betty Lou Jensen and David Faraday were on their first date in Vallejo, California. They never made it home. Both were shot on Lake Herman Road, a brutal crime with no suspects and no clear motive. The community had no idea this was only the beginning. On July 4th, 1969, another couple, Darlene Ferrin and Michael Mageau, sat in their car at Blue Rock Springs Park. A man pulled up, left, then returned and opened fire. Darlene was killed. Michael barely survived. Less than an hour later, police received a call. The calm voice on the line confessed to the shooting and to the earlier murders. The Zodiac had just introduced himself. But it wasn't only his crimes that made him unforgettable. It was his letters. In August 1969, 3 Bay Area newspapers received nearly identical letters. Each claimed responsibility for the shootings and included part of a cryptogram, a coded message. The writer demanded the cipher be printed on the front page, or more people would die. He signed his letters with a strange symbol, a circle with a cross through it, like gun sights. He gave himself a name. He was the Zodiac. When combined, the cryptograms formed a 408-character cipher. A schoolteacher and his wife cracked it within days. The message was chilling. The Zodiac wrote that killing was fun, that it gave him more pleasure than sex. He claimed that when he died, he would be reborn in paradise, and those he killed would be his slaves. But he left out one crucial detail: his name. The killings continued. On September 27, 1969, college students Brian Hartnell and Cecilia Shepard were picnicking at Lake Berryessa when a hooded man appeared. On his chest was the Zodiac symbol. He tied them up and stabbed them repeatedly. Before leaving, he scrawled his mark and the date on Brian's car door. Cecilia died. Brian survived. Just weeks later, on October 11, 1969, cab driver Paul Stein was murdered in San Francisco. The killer tore off part of Stein's shirt and later mailed it to the Chronicle as proof. Frustratingly, police nearly caught him that night. Officers saw a man leaving the crime scene, but due to a miscommunication, they were told to look for a black suspect. The man they saw was white, so they let him walk away. Many believe that man was the Zodiac. The letters kept coming, full of taunts, threats, and new ciphers. He bragged about possible attacks on school buses, drew diagrams of bombs, and mocked the police openly. The public was terrified. Parents feared for their children. Newspapers printed every word, hoping to prevent more bloodshed. The more attention he got, the bolder he became. The Zodiac claimed 37 victims, but investigators could only confirm 7. Was he exaggerating, or had he killed more than anyone realized? Either way, his obsession with games and codes kept the nation on edge. Several suspects emerged over the years. The most famous was Arthur Lee Allen, a convicted child molester who matched witness descriptions and even owned a Zodiac brand watch with the killer's crosshair symbol. He became the prime suspect, but no physical evidence ever tied him to the murders. DNA tests later ruled him out. Other names included journalist Richard Gaikowski and Lawrence Kane, but again, nothing definitive. The mystery endured. The ciphers became legends in their own right. Some were solved, others resisted every attempt. In 2020, a team finally cracked the infamous 340-character cipher, only to find another taunt. The Zodiac wrote, "I hope you are having lots of fun trying to catch me. I am not afraid of the gas chamber. I now have enough slaves to work for me." Decades later, his words were still haunting. Despite all the letters, codes, and claims, the Zodiac's true identity was never discovered. The FBI eventually closed the case in the 2000s, though local police still investigate. Advances in DNA testing have brought hope, but so far they've only ruled out suspects, never confirmed one. The Zodiac may have stopped killing, or he may have died, taking his secrets with him. What makes his story so enduring isn't just the murders, but the mystery. Unlike other serial killers who were caught, the Zodiac remains faceless. His mocking letters, strange symbols, and unsolved puzzles continue to fascinate and terrify. Perhaps that was his goal all along, to be remembered, to become a legend, to haunt people long after his crimes ended. 50 years later, we're still asking the same question. Who was the Zodiac Killer? Arthur Lee Allen? One of the many other suspects? Or someone we've never even considered? What we do know is this: he turned fear into a weapon, manipulated the media, and used mystery as his deadliest tool. He remains one of the darkest figures in American history, a chilling reminder that sometimes the most terrifying monsters are the ones we can't name. The story of the Zodiac Killer is unfinished. It may never be solved. And perhaps that is the most terrifying part of all. If you found this story chilling, don't forget to subscribe for more true crime cases, both solved and unsolved. There are countless mysteries waiting to be uncovered, and together, we'll continue to explore them.